December 6, 1959, the President of the United States of America, Dwight D. Eisenhower, pays an official visit to the Republic of Turkey, an important day in the history of Turkish-American relations. For days now, the excitement of this historic occasion has been running through the city of Ankara. Practically everyone, including government offices and institutions, are competing to make this first visit by an American president a memorable one. The route to be taken by the motorcade is decorated with attractive, colorful arches. Eisenhower portraits are seen in the shop windows. The people are pouring in from all parts of the country. Windows, balconies are packed with crowds. The sound of drums and music is heard everywhere. The world's first military band, the Mehter Takımı, in their traditional and colorful old Turkish uniforms, is already in place, waiting to welcome the president. Folk dance groups from every part of Turkey, especially selected for this occasion by the Department of Information, Broadcasting and Tourism, have begun performing their dances in the streets. There is excited expectation everywhere. It is now only minutes until President Eisenhower arrives. Esenboğa Airport, 2:30 p.m. The President of Turkey, Celal Bayar, the President of the Grand National Assembly, Refik Koraltan, Prime Minister Adnan Menderes, and other cabinet ministers, members of the diplomatic corps, department directors, correspondents, and sightseers are awaiting the plane which will bring the distinguished visitor. It is easy to see the atmosphere of pleasant excitement affecting all those present. The giant 707 jet transport, with President Eisenhower aboard, arrives exactly on time. The aircraft taxis to its position punctually at 3 o'clock. The door of the plane opens and President Eisenhower, together with his party, comes down the ramp to the acclaim of the crowds gathered at the airport. President Eisenhower is met by American Ambassador Fletcher Warren and the protocol officer of the Turkish government. Then he greets President Bayar. He speaks with President Bayar, whom he met in Washington in 1954. Then he shakes hands with the President of the Grand National Assembly, Koraltan, Prime Minister Menderes, and the cabinet ministers. As the Turkish military band plays the American and Turkish national anthems, 21 guns fire a salute to honor the President. President Eisenhower inspects a guard of honor and then shouts to them in Turkish, "Merhaba asker," greetings soldiers. The party then goes to an airport conference room to exchange statements before a press corps of 300 foreign and Turkish correspondents. Welcoming the honored guest, President Bayar says, "I have great pleasure and honor, personally and on behalf of the Turkish nation, in welcoming Your Excellency as the President of the United States of America and as our distinguished guest."
Party, when I respond to your warm words of welcome by saying, somewhat haltingly, I fear, but nevertheless sincerely, hoş bulduk, çok teşekkür ederim.
Just before leaving the airport for Ankara in a spectacular procession of escorted official vehicles, the city's governor presented Eisenhower with a gold key to the capital. At the city's edge, President Eisenhower and Bayar change into the historical Lincoln Phaeton automobile, which once belonged to Kemal Atatürk, the founder of the modern Turkish Republic. The road is lined with cheering crowds. It's brightly decorated with Turkish and American flags and bunting. Folk groups from all over Turkey dance their gay welcome to exciting Turkish folk rhythms and melodies. The motorcade passes numerous military bands playing Turkish and American marches, and the President receives a tumultuous reception from the crowd all along the route. He appears happy and excited, waving back at the cheering throngs. From the vantage point on the broad steps of an Ankara bank at Ulu Square, the Mehter Takımı, a form of traditional and ancient Turkish military band, add more pomp and ceremony. huge 6-story high portrait of President Eisenhower almost completely covers the facade of the Faculty of Letters of Ankara University. The streets of Ankara were never so packed to welcome a foreign personality as they are today. Impressed by the enormous crowd and the warm friendliness, President Eisenhower later said that he was completely overwhelmed at the reception he was given by the people of Turkey. It is the most enthusiastic and largest crowd he had ever seen for a city the size of Ankara. Noting one arch with the legend, "Welcome to your second home," President Eisenhower added that whenever he is in Turkey, he always feels that he is in his second home. The official route is decorated by many triumphal arches bearing messages, "Peace, yes, concessions, no," "Turks are your real friends," "No peace without security," and "We too like Ike." "5:10 p.m., the mausoleum of Kemal Atatürk. In an atmosphere of dignified solemnity, President Eisenhower pays his respects to the founder of modern Turkey. At the official guest house, President Eisenhower receives an honorary doctorate of political sciences from the University of Ankara. During the same ceremony, Undersecretary to the Prime Minister Ahmet Salih Korur makes President Eisenhower an honorary member of the Turkish Veterans Society. On arriving at the presidential palace, the presidents of the United States and Turkey, the Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister, spend a few minutes with the press before beginning official talks. The festive nighttime illumination of Ankara and firework displays heighten the celebration of President Eisenhower's visit. "7:30 p.m. at the Press Center, set up in the new Grand National Assembly building. White House Press Secretary James Haggerty and Foreign Minister Fatih Rushdu Zorlu hold press conferences. Questions are put and answered, and immediately relayed to a waiting world by the press corps. Complex facilities have been provided for the pressmen. Teletype, telephoto, cable, and radio phone circuits. Keep them within minutes of their home offices. These are some of the teletype machines set up by the Turkish PTT to facilitate the work of the newspapermen in getting their stories out as quickly as possible. "9:30 p.m. at the Ankara Palace Hotel. The General Director of the Information, Broadcasting and Tourism Department, Altimur Kilic, welcomes guests to a reception for over 300 American, foreign, and Turkish journalists covering this first Middle Eastern stop on the President's world tour. Turkish folk dancers who earlier greeted the presidential motorcade perform their regional dances for the journalists. "7 a.m., December 7. President Eisenhower inspects the Guard of Honor drawn up before the official guest house. After a few handshakes with members of the escort police, he boards a helicopter for the flight over the city of Ankara to the airport. airport conference room, President Bayar notes that the visit made it possible for the Turkish nation to salute the American nation from the heart. President Eisenhower describes his gratification with the extraordinary reception accorded to him and his party.
And permit me, as I say, Godspeed you, good luck to all of you, to again attempt another Turkish expression. This time, may I say, Allah is Meladik.
Before taking his leave of the Turkish capital, President Eisenhower inspects the Guard of Honor to the accompaniment of a 21-gun salute. Saying his farewells to the cabinet ministers, government and military officials, ambassadors of Afghanistan and India, and to the President of the Grand National Assembly, Koral Tan, and Foreign Minister Zor Lu, President Eisenhower stops for a friendly last-moment chat with Prime Minister Menderes and President Bayar. Taxis out for takeoff. 8:10 a.m., December 7th. The giant plane speeds away toward the Turkish border, carrying with it unforgettable memories of deepened friendship between the people of Turkey and America, through the person of the distinguished President of the United States, Dwight D. Eisenhower.